Right.
Yeah, it is. Very green.
No, it's not. The grass is asphalt.
Hi, Kat. How are you? Good to see you. You too. Congratulations on the bond.
Oh. There goes my water.
Okay, we're back, and we're at item 6, board quote. Tonight's board quote is from Mrs. Agnes M. Farrow, which captures the essence of the holiday season. It is tenderness for the past, courage for the present, hope for the future. It is a fervent wish that every cup may overflow with blessings rich and eternal, and that every path may lead to peace. So, since we've moved past public comments, we did those earlier, we're going to go right to item 7B, which is board comments, beginning with Colonel Harding.
I have nothing.
Oh. It's ever thus with Colonel Harding. Mrs. Bullock?
I just want to say I hope everyone had a happy Thanksgiving, and I wish you a Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy New Year, whatever holiday you might celebrate. And I have.
Thank you. Mr. Borland?
Seems like a long time since we last met here, but been with most of you at some point or another since then. So I want to recognize the passing of a true American hero, John Glenn. One of my earliest memories is of watching the TV coverage of John Glenn's 3 Earth orbits from Miss Siegenthaler's 3rd grade class at Longfellow Elementary School. At the time, it was one of the most exciting things I had ever seen. He passed away today at the age of 95. I was pleased to attend the state championship assembly at Pine Creek High School on Tuesday, along with Mrs. Johnson, Dr. Hatchell, Dr. Smith. And again, congratulations to the 4-8 champions. We'll have a busy weekend this weekend with CASB, other events, so we'll be spending more time together. And like Mrs. Bullock, I want to wish all of you, staff and the board, Christmas, happy holidays, and very happy.
Mrs. Van Mater, thank you, Mr. Borland.
Thank you very much. It is my great pleasure to be here, and the single meeting in December is always most interesting. It's also lengthy, so thank you to all of you and patience for being here. And I just wanted to say, I'll see you at the CASB annual conference, right? We'll be seeing each other on and off throughout the weekend, and I truly appreciate the opportunity to be there. I had the opportunity to do a couple things in schools recently, but I want to keep my comments short, so I just want to mention Girls STEM Day at UCCS. A week ago last Monday, Mrs. Vicki Taylor, former board member here, invited me once again to be to help with Girls STEM Day, and I assisted in a presentation called So What?, which was SEW What?, where we had girls doing sewing projects with conductive thread. So what you do, it's fabulous stuff, and you take your needle and conductive thread and you sew it through felt. We were making bookmarks, and of course we have to teach them about open and closed circuits, right? Yes, fun stuff, exactly. So they're making a circuit, and they have a little switch, and they go from the positive to the positive on their little LED light, and the negative to the negative, and then of course when you push the button, you light something up. And you can put it at the star on your Christmas tree, or you can make it as your puppy's eye, or a flower center, or whatever you want to do with it. So yeah, creative stuff. But yes, and it was very much, it's actually, I would call that activity STEAM, more than STEM, right? Because it's very arts focused. The most fascinating thing to me in 2016 is that, and I got to do this one last year as well. So this was my second year on this particular one. I did a different one before that. But the most fascinating thing in 2016, my grandmother would have been surprised about, aside from the fact that there is such a thing as conductive thread and LEDs, my grandmother would have been surprised at how few children know how to thread a needle or tie a knot so that it won't come out. They don't know how to sew. That's actually more challenging for our kids than the concept of circuits. So it's actually, but it's an absolute blast. And we had 2 groups of middle school girls in ours, and it was just fabulous. It was a really fun day. I want to thank Mrs. Taylor for inviting me back. She has a habit of doing that. That's what happens when you're friends with wonderful people like Vicki Taylor. So that was fabulous, and it was my great joy to do it. I also wanted to, as we're looking forward to the CASB annual conference, fellow board members, I wanted to point out to you an email that you received today from Matt Cook of CASB, and you may not have had a chance to look at it because it came out this afternoon. But it is talking about the Joint Budget Committee staff, the JBC staff. He attended a meeting last night with them. That's why he didn't make it to the CASB Board of Directors meeting until late. JBC staff at that meeting proposed that the legislature should do a referred measure this year on a statewide mill levy to equalize funding among school districts. What, pray tell, is that, you ask? Well, some in CASB are calling it the Robin Hood legislation. Does that give you a clue? What they want to do is they want to take basically districts that have higher assessed value, where you can raise more money per mill, and somehow redistribute all of that to places where that's not possible. Because of course, because of Tabor and Gallagher, there's no new money in the system, and because of Gallagher, the effects of Gallagher, if you remember, the 45-55 split between residential and commercial property tax forces mill levies to do very strange things. And there are places where the mill levy is extremely low, places where it's extremely high. Because of assessed value, it doesn't matter anyway, it's all over the place. But that's what they're proposing. So the legislative season, ladies and gentlemen, has begun. Prepare to joust. So just wanted to let you know, you might read the email. A lot of what I just told you is reading between the lines. Not all that information is in there, but that was part of the discussion last night. It will continue to be. So if you hear about Robin Hood legislation this weekend, open up your ears and pay attention, because there are a few different versions of that. Last year they actually tried to, there was talk about trying to run a bill in the legislature while they were still in session to actually redistribute mill levy funds, and then someone determined that perhaps that might be illegal because they were, because there were elections in local districts that got those funds in the first place. So they decided, oh wait, maybe we don't have this jurisdiction to go to local entities and take away the money that their local taxpayers put into their own system. So I think this is a new and creative way to redistribute funds, because there ain't no more money. So here we go. So I just wanted to tell you. And with that, try not to run into the Grinch this season. Happy Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy Hanukkah, happy all of those things, everything that you celebrate. And I wish everyone a joyful and wonderful holiday season.
Thank you, Mrs. Van Mater. Always so full of information, and I appreciate it. So, wrapping it up from this perspective, I felt like tonight's spotlight represented all the best of extracurricular and the things that are Academy District 20. For those of you who weren't present, Pine Creek High School representatives from their 4A state championship football team were there, along with coaches and principal back. And then there was a Rockrimmon Elementary School with their award-winning robotics, the rookie team of the year. So it's thoroughly enjoyable, and I felt like very easy to see all the excellence expressed in so many different ways, and so grateful to be able to support it as a board member and as a community member. I also want to mention, as long as we're talking about athletic excellence, that Discovery Canyon's football, there's only boys football team also had an awesome season and deserves just as much recognition. Although they ended up the runner-up in 3A, we're still very proud of them. Likewise, and this was an oversight from a few weeks ago, the TCA, their boys soccer team is also state champs. And congratulations to all of those fine athletes, student athletes. Finally, I want to remind board members to visit the Giving Tree upstairs. You may have seen Dr. Smith's email, but I just want to say right here and now that you may know that the Giving Tree will benefit students at our 4 Title I schools and the special, as well as special education families, and those gifts are such a beautiful way to express how much we value all of them as well. Finally, I was at the CASB session, the delegate session regarding the executive board for CASB and for Region 6, which is ours. The new member joining the executive board, which is also peopled by our own Mrs. Van Mater, is Ms. J. Suter, who is from Huerfano RE. So that's it. Dr. Hatchell.
Thank you very much, Mr. Gregory.
Oh, thank you.
Dr. Smith? Dr. Field? Dr. Peak?
Yes, thank you, Dr. Hatchell. This evening, I'm pleased tonight to introduce Henry Breitwiesner, who is being recommended as the Executive Director for Building Fund. Henry, could you please stand? He's joined this evening by a good friend and colleague, Paul McCarty. Henry holds a Bachelor of Architecture degree from the University of Maryland. He is an accredited professional in building design and construction through Leadership in Energy and Environmental Design, and he's certified through the Green Building Certificate Program by LEED. Henry's background includes 24 years of experience as an architect and project manager. He began working closely with schools while he was employed with LKA Partners, a local architecture firm serving educational clients. During that time with LKA, Henry worked in our school district as a project administrator for the Air Academy High School remodel and for the construction of Academy International and Academy Endeavor. Henry then served as a director for auxiliary services and construction for a number of years in Falcon School District, including successfully managing 16 capital construction projects with $113 million in budget, adding 630,000 square feet in facilities and increasing the overall gross square footage of the district by 72% in 5 years. Henry then worked for Pikes Peak Community College as Director of Construction Management and Assistant Director of Facilities Maintenance and Operations. He's most recently served in Academy District 20 for the past 6 years as a Supervisor for Construction and Environmental Services. We're certainly pleased this evening to present Henry to you tonight for the position of Executive Director for Building Fund. Henry, is there anything you'd like to say?
I'd first like to thank the election results and the voters. Also, Dr. Hatchell and Mr. Gregory and the Board of Education for this opportunity to serve the community, bringing forward needed projects and activities at each of our facilities.
Thank you, Henry. Nothing further, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Combs.
No, thank you.
Ms. Richardson. Ms. Cortez. Ms. Kuzer. Mr. Grady. We have a couple of items. Antelope Trails Elementary students made more than 100 knee rugs, a type of fleece blanket to assist in skilled living residents at Liberty Heights and Cordera. So thank you to them. Students at High Plains Elementary participated in a week-long Hour of Code event celebrating Computer Science Week. Brittany Darris, Rampart High School English teacher and author of more than 130 unique and powerful letters detailing her students' importance, is a finalist for the 2016 Mayor's Young Leader Award. Elisa Miller, choir teacher at Discovery Canyon Campus Middle School, has been nominated and selected to receive the 2017 Outstanding Young Music Educator Award from the Colorado Music Educators Association. And earlier this week, I did my first semester job other than my own. I worked as a cook's aide serving breakfast at Pioneer Elementary. My boss was Jonna Slaymaker. She's retiring after 29 and a half years at school. So I served cereal. There's a picture or two up there. So I had a blast. As you know, I work a job other than my own every semester, and I learned much and had a lot of fun. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Hatchell.
I know. You look like you got a little Russian.
Yes, yes.
All right, so we'll move to item 8, consent agenda. At this time, we need a motion to approve the following resolutions. Resolution 261-16, approval of the matters relating to administrative personnel licensed. Resolution 262-16, approval of matters relating to administrative personnel classified. Resolution 263-16, approval of matters relating to licensed personnel teachers. Resolution 264-16, Approval of matters relating to classified personnel. Approve the Board of Education regular meeting minutes from November 17, 2016. Roll call, please. I need a motion?
So moved.
Okay, good. That's
Second.
not written. Thank you. Now roll call.
Mr. Borland?
Aye.
Mrs. Bullock?
Aye.
Mrs. Johnson?
Aye.
Mrs. Van Manen? Aye.
So we're just gonna take a brief break. Congratulate. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. Matter of fact, I'm getting ready to have her husband come put in, unhook sonotrol and have him come in and just put in on all. And she's a real, well, just like she was here.
I know, I miss them. We have birthdays close to each other, so we used to go to her.
I can't believe it.
I know.
That baby.
Do you remember when we did that Halloween, when she was pregnant, the Halloween thing from the bell, like on a wheelchair, and it was nice and warm for her, she was all balloons and stuff. It's really funny. She's such a good sport. Yeah.
We'll bring you here some more for this morning.
Oh, cool.
Oh, that would be good. So usually we'll say who the teacher is. Or a lot of times the teacher will submit it, but this is like the principals and all this. And what teacher?
Paging the board members.
This is where Mr. Street gives the dirty looks to call the board members back to the podium.
They give you a dirty look if you're not looking at it. Yeah.
Mrs. Johnson's just nicer than that.
I do need to bang the gavel. All right, we're back, and before we go to item 12A, I'm going to return to Dr. Hatchell, who remembered two things he forgot to say.
Thank you very much. Thank you to Ms. Kuzer and IT. We have new televisions up. They're larger with more resolution. And thank you to Mr. Grady's idea that we now have the restrooms open in the workout area, so folks don't need to go behind and go right on down there. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Hatchell, and I understand that there's going to be even more good things in regard to the TV once HD is incorporated. So preview of coming attractions. All right, now we're going to move to item 12A, Superintendent's Reports and Resolutions, the 2017-2018 new course proposals from Academy Online High School, Discovery Canyon Campus High School, Liberty High School, and Pine Creek High School. Dr. Hatchell.
Thank you very much, Dr. Field.
Yes, this evening, Clark Maxon, Director for Curriculum and Instruction, is going to lead this presentation.
Well, good evening. It's my pleasure to bring new course proposals to you. At each of our buildings, teams of educators worked on these proposals, and they represent a great deal of work and a lot of passion. And so tonight, I'm going to ask for folks from each of our buildings to talk about what they'd like to share tonight. So we're going to do this in alphabetical order, and I'd like to call first Nathan Gorsh, Principal of Academy Online High School.
Thanks, Clark, and thank you to the board. Academy Online is really excited to offer two new course proposals that we think are going to be great opportunities for students. The first one is an individual projects course. which are high-interest electives with a culminating experience, and we'll kind of unpack that a little bit. But just as a brief side note, this actually came from the research and design team. We saw a school in New York City that had a course very similar to this that the students were really engaged with, and we really loved, and want to bring that into our school. Our courses are really designed for our students at the Village, our hybrid program. And then the second course that we're really that we want to propose is called Career Exploration and Internships. As you know, one of the superintendent's initiatives is around internship experiences, and ultimately what we hope, again, is for the Village students to spend some time doing some job shadowing junior year, and then ultimately doing an internship experience senior year. And so I have the wonderful opportunity to introduce Lindsay Keller, who is one of our English teachers, but also really coordinates our electives and is an outstanding educator. And she's going to talk a little bit about the courses in detail.
Podium reminds me of Kevin Bacon in Footloose, but I'll spare you my dance. I just keep going back to that in my mind. Good evening, thank you for having me. As Nathan said, I'll talk a little bit about two of our course proposals for next year, for 2017-2018. First, the first course is titled Individual Projects. The Individual Projects course aims to provide students the opportunity to select a high-interest elective that emulates an experience that they might, or any one of us might, enter into to learn, to express themselves artistically, to make money, or to serve their community. Students will study and explore a topic, work with experts in that field, work collaboratively, and ultimately develop a product that demonstrates new learning and skills. One example, pop-up restaurant, where students study the process of opening a small business, in this case, a restaurant. Write a business plan, pitch their idea to restaurant owners from our community to solicit feedback and advice, and then open their restaurant for the last few days or weeks of the semester to apply their new knowledge and experience. You're invited to come eat the food. I don't know if I will. Other examples that we've tossed around just in brainstorming in our teacher teams include novel writing, how to make a documentary, song and sound mixing, the art of argument, architecture, cooking for a healthy life, management of my money, knitting and crafting, etc., with students producing learning artifacts including things like individualized training programs, a novel or symphony piece, a published series of editorials or blogs, blueprints for a new school playground, or blankets to donate as part of a service learning effort. Through individual projects, we aim to blur the line between school and the world where students will one day work and live. Each experience takes students through a process not unlike the personal project in the middle years program, and will also provide opportunities for service learning, skill development in collaboration, communication, and also in emotional intelligence. The second course proposal that we bring to the board tonight is titled Career Experiences and Internships. And in this course, we aim to provide structured and intentional time to help students in their post-secondary planning. Again, the hope is to blur the line between school and a field where students find interest. At minimum, students will have the opportunity to complete career inventories and assessments, research different fields, hear from experts in some of those fields, and then also spend time with them where they work. Beyond those learning experiences, students will develop relationships with community members and people in the industries they study, and ultimately serve as interns or participate in mentor relationships with those folks. So what does this look like? I really envision in the first semester doing the foundational work that we all need before we enter into a professional environment. These inventories, having guest speakers come to the campus, self-assessments, really asking who am I and what do I want to do with my life, resume writing, business letter writing, career and goal setting, to include a really careful look at the necessary education to enter into fields. Education is expensive, and we want our kids to be making really
intentional and educated decisions as they step into those decisions. And then in semester 2, we want them to step outside the walls of our schools and go into industry, spend time in hospitals, spend time with military or service personnel, spend time in the hospitality field, whatever it is that they're kind of interested in exploring. I believe this elective takes the best elements of the ICAP and brings them to life. At this point, students have a solid academic foundation. They have a good idea of who they are, but they also need to explicitly surface their talents and goals in an effort to find the best professional fit for them. Thank you. Also, I went to Longfellow.
You were there a good bit of time after I was there.
No,
I'm sure.
that's not true.
Any queries? Or do you want to just keep moving forward, or want to ask as we go? Let's talk, well, yeah, anyone have questions now for Academy Online? Oh, save them to last. All right, hold, remain available.
Also have new course proposals from Discovery Canyon Campus High School, and Dr. James Bailey's here.
Thank you, Clark, for the PhD. Last I saw him, Mr. was sufficient. So, we did 11 years ago when we started writing curriculum for Discovery Canyon Campus High School. We really set forth we really had the vision to try to offer classes that provide unique opportunities for kids in sciences beyond the traditional biology and chemistry and physics. Well, when we were small and our learning population was still relatively small, we had the biology, the chemistry, and the physics. And as we've gotten bigger, we've added courses in astronomy and oceanography, marine biology, and now we're bringing another one in the physics and earth science arena of amateur radio. What started out as a club a couple years ago is now being proposed as a formal class, which allows juniors and seniors to study for their ham radio operator's license, their amateur